I need a medic. Like, I actually need a medic. I am physically out of breath right now.
You're hyperventilating. I can literally hear it.
I am. I am hyperventilating into a metaphorical paper bag. Because, okay, I opened my phone this morning entirely innocent, right? Like, entirely unprepared for the day.
Which is always your first mistake on a Friday.
Literally. And
Yeah.
the internet just, like, jumped out of the screen and physically assaulted my nervous system. It is a level of unhinged today that I didn't even know we were capable of. Like, as a functioning society with laws, I am unwell.
It's Friday, and, I mean, the simulation is officially glitching. The writers of this season of humanity have just completely given up on narrative continuity.
They threw the script out the window.
Exactly. They're just hurling chaotic plot twists at the wall to see what sticks. It is aggressive, it is messy, and, frankly, I am living for the absolute destruction of my daily screen time limits. Like, my phone battery is fighting for its life right now.
Babes, welcome back. We love you. We see you. And honestly, if the group chat had a personality, it would definitely be louder than both of us combined.
Oh, absolutely. The Snark Squad is feral today.
Completely feral. Welcome back to the Snark Squad, everyone. We have the deleted videos, the frantic PR briefs, the actual court documents, all of it. Our mission today is to just break down the psychology, the economics, and the sheer audacity of this week's gossip.
We are pinpointing the exact moment the reality TV universe experienced a total systemic collapse.
Yes. But first, because gossip objectively tastes better with bubbles, what are we drinking to sedate our central nervous systems today?
We need heavy sedation.
We really do. We are heavily self-medicating with raspberry limoncello spritzes. Heavy on the limoncello, like extremely heavy on the Prosecco, because we have to make it through another 24-hour cycle of people losing their absolute minds in public.
Cheers to you. Cheers to the squad, and, you know, cheers to surviving the digital Wild West without getting canceled this week.
Cheers, bestie. Oh my God, that is tart.
It is aggressively tart. Literally the exact same flavor profile as my timeline today.
Yeah.
So, before we even touch the absolute biohazard that is today's Celebrity Breakdown, we need to do a little internal housekeeping.
Oh, yes. The games.
Right. And by housekeeping, I mean we are hosting the Group Chat Olympics. Because, like, if the Paris Games can hand out gold medals for breakdancing, we can absolutely hold a medal ceremony for the dysfunction of our own digital ecosystems.
Oh, I'm so ready for this. Like, our group chat is an absolute war zone of conflicting personalities, and it deserves international recognition.
It needs federal funding, is what it needs. Okay, first category for the gold medal. Fastest person to reply.
Oh, wow. Okay.
This goes to the friend who has their read receipts permanently toggled on, right? And they reply before the three little typing bubbles even finish their first animation cycle.
It's a gold medal for speed, but honestly, it should be a Lifetime Achievement Award for generalized anxiety.
Exactly. You know exactly who you are, Snark Squad. You're the one where I text a simple, hey, and before I can even formulate the actual question, you've responded with, like, what's wrong? Who died? Do we need an alibi?
Yes, like, the gold medal for the fastest reply is entirely rooted in deep, unhealed trauma. It's hypervigilance. It's the fear of abandonment manifesting as a 0.4-second response time.
It's sociological poetry. Okay, the opposite end of the spectrum. Next medal. Most likely to ignore 87 messages and then respond with, LOL.
Oh, I hate this person. I hate them.
I'm handing this gold medal out with absolute venom in my heart. This is the person who treats the group chat like a daily newspaper.
Yes. Like, they just picked it up at a coffee shop.
Right. They skim the headlines. They completely ignore the emotional breakdowns. They skip past the link to the overpriced shoes I'm debating buying. And, like, 3 entire business days later, they just drop a single skull emoji into the chat.
It is sociopathic behavior. Like, babe, we just navigated a geopolitical crisis in this chat over the last 48 hours.
We solved world peace.
Literally. Susan got fired from her corporate job. I had a full existential crisis in a Target parking lot about my late 20s, and you're just dropping limo straight to a federal penitentiary. You cannot just bypass the emotional labor of the chat.
Which perfectly brings us to the next medal. Best meme sender.
Oh, this is prestigious.
Highly prestigious. This requires curatorial genius.
Yeah.
The gold goes to the person who doesn't just, you know, forward generic humor from a meme page with 3 million followers.
No. They are in the digital trenches.
Yes. They find the deep-fried, culturally hyper-specific memes that perfectly encapsulate your exact current mental illness. It's an anthropological art form. They understand the psychological nuances of the squad.
It really is an art form. It's basically a love language at this point. Okay, what about biggest overshare? Because I am fully self-aware enough to know I might take the gold for this one.
Oh, you absolutely sweep the podium for this.
I knew it!
You treat the group chat like a secure, encrypted server at the Pentagon. You drop classified emotional intelligence at like 9:00 a.m. on a Tuesday. I will be in a marketing meeting, and I'll get a text from you outlining a deeply repressed childhood memory triggered by the smell of fabric softener.
I can't help it. If I have a weird, slightly hostile interaction with a barista who gave me regular milk instead of oat milk, the squad needs the debrief immediately. I need peer review.
You demand an audience for your daily interactions, which naturally leads us to the next one. Most dramatic voice notes.
Okay, wait, I sweep this one too.
Again, sweeping the podium. Your voice notes are audio cinematic universes. You send 3-minute, fully produced monologues with rising action, a climax, and a denouement.
Sometimes you need the vocal inflection. Text simply does not convey the sheer terror of thinking you lost your car keys while you were actively holding your car keys.
That is fair. But the final medal, the most dangerous high-stakes event in the group chat Olympics. Person most likely to accidentally text the wrong chat.
Oh my God, the cortisol spike I just experienced, just from hearing you say that out loud.
Do you have a confession to make to the Snark squad?
I have to tell you, I have to confess something. I did this last week.
No.
It was the most harrowing, soul-crushing experience of my adult life. So I was trying to send a screenshot of this guy's completely unhinged dating app profile to the group chat. He was holding a fish. He had a weird quote about crypto, like, it was prime roasting material.
Right, the standard protocol.
Standard protocol. And my thumbs, my traitorous, stupid thumbs betrayed me.
Stop speaking. Tell me you didn't do what I think you did.
I sent the screenshot of his profile, Kia him, directly on the app in his chat interface.
What is the mechanical breakdown of your brain that allowed that to happen? That is a DEFCON 1 level social emergency.
I know.
It's like pointing a loaded weapon at your own social life. What did you do?
I threw my phone across the room like it was an active explosive device. I literally considered fleeing the jurisdiction.
You needed a new identity.
I did. I panicked. I took some deep breaths. I retrieved the phone from the rug, and I tried to deploy a tactical pivot. I typed, OMG, so sorry. My friend wanted to see what you look like because I wouldn't stop talking about you.
Oh, the sheer desperation of the PR spin. You tried to turn a catastrophic privacy breach into a compliment? Did the pivot hold up in court? Did he buy it?
He unmatched me immediately.
Ooh.
He vaporized our connection from the mainframe, which, honestly, fair. I deserved the digital execution. But the group chat had an absolute field day analyzing my pain.
This is exactly why the internet is a fundamentally dangerous place. We're just not evolved enough to carry supercomputers in our pockets, which perfectly transitions us into our next thought experiment. Internet inventions we wish existed.
Ooh, yes.
If you had an unlimited line of venture capital funding, what ridiculous tech product are you bringing to market to fix the friction of human existence?
Okay, hear me out. A real-life mute button.
Okay, I'm listening.
Not like noise-canceling headphones where I just defensively block out the world. I want an offensive weapon. A literal remote control where I point it at a person in public like the guy taking a screaming business call on speakerphone in line at Sweetgreen.
Oh, discussing Q3 deliverables. The worst.
Exactly. And I click a button, and their voice is just locally silenced for everyone in a 10-foot radius. Their mouth is moving, but the audio is cut.
Okay, so mechanically, you were talking about localized sound wave nullification technology, which logistically and according to the laws of physics is entirely impossible without manipulating the actual air pressure around their vocal cords.
Stop ruining my dream with science.
But sociologically, it's a trillion-dollar company. You are selling the ultimate luxury, which is the ability to edit reality in real time.
Right. Imagine the absolute peace. Imagine the serenity on a 6-hour flight when the person behind you is listening to TikToks on full volume.
Take all my money.
What's your invention? Because you're always trying to aggressively optimize everything.
I want glasses that detect lies.
Oh!
But not a clunky polygraph machine with wires. I want a subtle, augmented reality display built into a pair of chic frames. Like if someone says, oh, I'm 5 minutes away just looking for parking, a little red text pops up in my peripheral vision.
Pulling their geolocation data?
Yes, and it says, fact check. They are still in a towel sitting on the edge of their bed, staring at a wall.
Oh, that would absolutely decimate the fabric of society. Friendships would end instantly. Marriages would dissolve overnight. Polite fictions are the only thing keeping us from tearing each other apart.
Exactly. It would be chaos, but it would be efficient chaos. The human brain relies on social friction and little white lies to survive, but I want the raw data. Imagine taking it on a first date.
Oh, that would be lethal.
The guy looks at you and says, I'm really looking for something serious right now. Ding. Fact check. He has 3 active girlfriends, a secret family in Ohio, and he hasn't paid his taxes since 2021.
Okay, I would absolutely finance a monthly subscription fee for that exact scenario, but you'd have to use it responsibly, which is why I'd also like to pitch delusionally lazy exercise shoes.
What does that even mean?
Like shoes that use microelectric currents to gently stimulate your foot and calf muscles so the pedometer on your phone registers 10,000 steps while you are actually horizontally paralyzed on the couch watching 4 hours of reality TV.
You aren't inventing a health product.
Yeah.
You were inventing health fraud. You were literally trying to trick your own biometric data.
No, I'm inventing self-care for the modern era. Let me have this. Okay, moving on. We're constantly making the absolute worst, most toxic people on Earth famous.
True.
So it is time to rectify this. We are doing the 5-minute fame draft. We are drafting the unsung heroes of society who actually deserve the dopamine rush of going viral.
Rup.
I claim the first overall pick.
The floor is yours. Draft wisely.
Kindergarten teachers. I will fight in the trenches for this. I volunteered in a kindergarten class once for exactly 45 minutes, and I had to go home, pull the blackout curtains, and take a medically necessary nap for 3 hours.
They are chaotic neutral.
They are managing 20 feral, underdeveloped humans who don't know how to tie their shoes, sneeze directly into the open air like biological weapons, and possess zero emotional regulation. Kindergarten teachers are managing the frontal lobe development of our entire future workforce. They deserve a ticker tape parade down Fifth Avenue every Friday.
That's a fundamentally strong first-round draft pick. You're drafting frontline psychological workers. I respect it. I'm going to counter with a purely infrastructural pick.
Okay, who?
Crossing guards.
Crossing guards. I need you to defend this.
Think about the absolute, raw, unmitigated power of a crossing guard. They step into the middle of a busy, chaotic intersection. They're wearing nothing but a neon reflective vest and a whistle. They hold up a tiny handheld octagonal stop sign, and 3,000-pound death machines screaming down the road at 40 miles an hour immediately slam on their brakes.
Okay, wait. When you put it like that.
They command physics. They hold the literal fabric of urban society together. If a crossing guard decided to go rogue and use their power for evil, the city's supply chain would collapse in 20 minutes. They deserve viral fame for wielding that much authoritarian power and never abusing it.
Okay, that is a terrifyingly accurate sociological breakdown. True. But for my second pick, I am getting genuinely emotional just thinking about the cultural weight of this demographic. Grandmas who aggressively feed everyone.
Ah, yes. The cultural enforcers of the carbohydrate.
Yes. The grandmas who refuse to acknowledge the phrase, "I'm full," as a valid human boundary. You walk into their house, you explicitly state that you just ate a 4-course meal at a restaurant, and they still materialize from the kitchen and place a structurally unsound plate of lasagna in front of you.
And they sit there and watch you eat it.
Exactly. They view an empty stomach as a personal insult. It's the sociology of food as an aggressive love language. They are the backbone of human comfort, and they deserve a multi-million-dollar reality show.
I would absolutely watch a reality competition show that's just matriarchs from different global cultures competing to see who can make a fully grown adult cry from being too full. That is prime television. But my final draft pick brings us back to the infrastructure of society. Librarians.
Okay?
We are currently living in a post-truth information desert. The internet is just a terrifying echo chamber of loud, wrong opinions and targeted ads for drop-shipped garbage. Meanwhile, librarians are sitting in quiet, temperature-controlled buildings holding the actual, verified truth. And they will help you find it, curate it, and synthesize it for absolutely free. They are the Jedi Knights of information literacy.
You know what? I deeply respect the Jedi librarian angle, but honestly, I need a librarian to help me categorize and organize my own brain, because today I had a full-blown emotional meltdown over absolutely nothing.
Oh, it's time for the daily overreaction. What incredibly minor inconvenience did you process like a level 10 Greek tragedy today?
No, you go first. I need to feel better about myself.
Fine. I walked into a grocery store this afternoon. I had exactly 2 items on my mental list: coffee creamer and paper towels. I confidently strode past the stack of hand baskets at the entrance because I looked at myself in the reflective glass and said, I am a strong, capable adult in the prime of my life. I do not need a basket for 2 items.
Oh, a fatal hubris. I know exactly how this ends.
Exactly. Because then I saw a promotional end cap with a sale on seltzer water, And then I remembered I needed limes for the seltzer. And then I remembered I was out of garlic.
The snowball effect.
And by the time I made it to the checkout lane, I was awkwardly cradling 14 different geometric shapes to my chest, like a desperate pelican hoarding fish. I was dropping a box of pasta every 3 steps, sweating profusely, kicking a lemon across the linoleum, and getting irrationally angry at everyone around me for witnessing my catastrophic lack of logistical planning.
Wait, what did you do when you got to the car?
I slammed the door and had to sit in absolute silence with the engine off for 5 minutes to let my heart rate drop.
I am rating that a solid 7 on the drama scale. Mostly because it was completely 100% self-inflicted. You flew too close to the sun without a handbasket, and the grocery store punished you for your arrogance.
It was a humiliating defeat. What was your manufactured crisis?
I forgot why I opened the refrigerator.
A classic misfire of the human brain. We all do it.
No, but I didn't just forget and move on. I opened the fridge, stared into the cold abyss of condiments and expired oat milk, realized my brain had completely dumped the cache of what I was looking for, and instead of just closing the door, I took it as a profound, terrifying sign of cognitive decline.
You spiraled.
I absolutely spiraled. I texted my mom in a panic to ask if early onset memory loss runs in our genetic lineage. I sat on the kitchen floor in the cold light of the open fridge and contemplated the fleeting nature of human consciousness, like how our memories are just fragile electrical impulses that will eventually fade into nothingness.
A 10. A definitive 10 on the drama scale. You took the absence of a string cheese and weaponized it into a full-blown existential crisis about human mortality.
It felt incredibly real in the moment. My amygdala was firing on all cylinders.
But babes, enough about our own deeply embarrassing daily disasters. It is time to turn our analytical gaze outward, because the internet has once again decided to operate without any ethical or logical constraints. Let's get into today's gossip, because the internet has once again decided to be completely unhinged.
Thank God, I desperately need to project my anxiety onto minor celebrities immediately. Let's get straight into the reality TV betrayals, because the Bravo cinematic universe is structurally collapsing today. We have to unpack the absolute catastrophe that is Jax Taylor and his publicist, Lori Krebs.
We need to establish the mechanical timeline here, because the PR spin is working overtime to blur the lines. Jax Taylor and Lori Krebs, who, crucially, was serving as the publicist for both Jax and his estranged wife, Brittany Cartwright, were spotted and photographed looking incredibly intimate in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico.
I am unwell over this.
They were there celebrating Jax's 47th birthday.
Which, first of all, going to a romantic resort town in Mexico with your estranged wife's active publicist is a choice so loud it breaks the sound barrier.
It is a nuclear choice. Brittany obviously fired Lori immediately upon this news breaking. She unfollowed her across all platforms, and the leaked quotes to the press say she is sick to her stomach. Brittany posted a very carefully worded statement on Instagram saying she hasn't given an official quote yet and will speak her truth when she is legally and emotionally ready.
Which is code for, I am assembling an army of lawyers.
Oh, absolutely. Meanwhile, Lala Kent absolutely weaponized her podcast, going completely scorched earth. She called Jax and Lori bottom feeders and explicitly stated she is disgusted by the romance.
I am spiraling over the mechanics of this betrayal. Do you understand what it means for the publicist across the line? A publicist is not just an employee. They are the vault.
They hold the keys to the kingdom.
They are supposed to be deep in your inner circle. They are the ones legally and morally obligated to hide the bodies, PR-wise. They know all your financial secrets. They know your relationship leverage. They guide you through your darkest public humiliations. Lori guided Brittany through the labyrinth of divorcing Jax Taylor, one of the most notoriously toxic men on television, and now she's drinking margaritas with him in Mexico.
That's insane.
It is like your defense attorney suddenly joining the prosecution mid-trial and using attorney-client privilege against you. It's Shakespearean treason.
It is a massive, arguably career-ending conflict of interest for a PR professional. But let's look at the underlying psychology in the timeline, because this didn't happen in a vacuum. Lala Kent pointed out that there were whispers and rumors about Jax and Lori crossing professional boundaries 2.5 years ago.
2.5 years.
Right. And U.S. Weekly has sources aggressively leaking that Brittany actually had her suspicions for years, but actively brushed them off because she trusted Lori. Let's analyze that. Why does a person ignore a glaring red flag for nearly 3 years when the flag is standing right in front of them holding a PR clipboard?
Because you want to trust the women in your foxhole. It's classic betrayal blindness. It's an actual psychological survival mechanism where the brain refuses to process information that threatens a primary attachment figure or a vital support system.
That makes sense.
Brittany is from Kentucky. Her entire brand and worldview are built on this sweetheart mentality where she desperately wants to believe the best in her chosen family. And Lori wasn't just a contracted employee, they were deeply embedded in each other's lives as friends. You don't want to believe that the woman fixing your mascara in the green room before a hostile reunion taping is secretly texting your husband.
Wow.
Embrace your reality.
That is a very empathetic read on the psychology of the victim. But we have to pivot to the cynical machinery of the PR spin that Lori's camp is currently deploying to save her reputation.
Oh, the PR spin is diabolical.
Within hours of the photos leaking, an insider, which in Hollywood speak just means a publicist using a burner email, told Reality T that Jax and Lori bonded organically over the past several months because they both have autistic children.
Oh my God.
The narrative being pushed is that they were platonic rocks for each other, supporting one another through the difficult periods of navigating neurodivergent parenting, and it just blossomed into romance.
Wow. That is dark. That is so dark.
It's a fascinating case study in crisis management. Do you buy that as the genuine, innocent origin story for a romantic connection, or is that a highly calculated, focus-grouped PR narrative designed to reframe a messy, home-wrecking affair into a sympathetic trauma bond?
Honestly, two things can be true at once. I'm sure there is a genuine shared experience there, like parenting is hard, and finding someone who understands your specific struggles is powerful. But weaponizing your children's medical diagnoses and leaking that to the press while the ink on your termination papers is still wet?
It's ruthless.
That is PR Warfare 101. That is Lori utilizing her professional skill set to soften the public blow so the Bravo audience doesn't just view her as the predatory publicist. But Lala wasn't buying the spin for a second. Lala, calling them bottom feeders, is the exact ecosystem enforcement I expect from her. She immediately offered to fly Brittany to Vegas to extract her from the LA fallout zone, which is the only correct response.
It really highlights the ultimate paradox of reality TV stardom. You pay a professional exorbitant fees to carefully construct and manage your public image, and they end up becoming the main character in your most devastating real-life downfall.
It's poetry, honestly.
But if we want to talk about glass houses, manufactured timelines, and the sheer audacity of reality TV hypocrisy, we have to look at the love hexagon currently suffocating the Summer House and Southern Charm crossover universe.
Oh my God, yes, the Bravo multiverse is collapsing in on itself.
Let's clearly define the parameters of this mess. Southern Charm's Sally Carson just went on a podcast and casually admitted to kissing Summer House's Kyle Cook right before the season 10 premiere party.
Which is inherently explosive because Kyle and Amanda just legally separated in January.
Correct. But here is where the mechanics of the drama get incredibly murky. Sally didn't just confess to the kiss. She completely obliterated Amanda Batula's moral high ground.
I was screaming when I heard this.
According to Sally, Amanda had previously pulled Kyle aside and warned him that Sally has a reputation in the Bravo sphere. And Sally's response to this warning was lethal. She basically said on the podcast, "You have an incredible amount of nerve talking about my reputation and policing Kyle's behavior when you were already secretly sleeping with West Wilson while acting outraged on camera." She explicitly called Amanda's warning pure psychological projection.
The audacity. The sheer unadulterated audacity of Amanda operating from a glass house. Amanda's out here trying to play the moral authority, acting like the grieving, betrayed wife, treating Sally like some opportunistic villain for kissing a legally single 43-year-old man.
Right.
Meanwhile, Amanda is allegedly having a sneaky link with West Wilson. West Wilson, who, by the way, is the ex-fling of Amanda's actual best friend and castmate, Ciara. It's a betrayal nesting doll.
This is why we have to examine how production companies manipulate timelines to protect certain cast members. Let's map this out. Amanda and West officially confirmed their romance to the public in March. But Sally is validating what the hypervigilant viewers have been screaming about for months.
We knew it.
If you go back and study the raw footage from last summer in the house, Amanda and West were practically radiating pheromones. The body language, the lingering touches, the inside jokes. It was entirely too familiar for platonic castmates.
They absolutely were. The viewers aren't stupid. We saw micro expressions,
Yeah.
and it completely recontextualizes the reunion. Ciara felt so deeply, viscerally betrayed by West at the reunion, and now we know her supposed best friend Amanda was actively hooking up with him behind the scenes.
The layers of deception are astounding.
But wait, because the mechanics of this get even more absurd. Guess who decided to step out of the shadows, weigh in on Kyle and Amanda's marriage failing, and offer unsolicited relationship advice?
Please do not tell me it's who I think it is.
Carl Radke.
My brain just rejected that information.
Gracious.
Yeah.
Carl gave a full press interview stating that he texted Amanda after the reunion to offer his counsel, advising her to get back to the version of Amanda that he used to know before the marriage.
I need to pause the timeline right here. We need to evaluate the source.
Yeah.
Carl Radke, the man who literally called off his own wedding to Lindsay Hubbard on a hot mic while cameras were rolling.
The very same.
The man who historically avoids interpersonal conflict like it is a lethal pathogen is now positioning himself as a marriage counselor to Amanda. The lack of self-awareness is medically fascinating.
It gets so much worse. He didn't just counsel Amanda. He also revealed that he told Kyle to embrace the separation and have a wild single summer. He looked at a 43-year-old man whose 10-year relationship and business partnership is currently dissolving and said, "Bro, let loose. Go wild in the Hamptons."
Have a wild single summer at 43. Let's look at the logistics of that. Kyle Cook is a middle-aged entrepreneur with a faded mullet and a struggling beverage company. His liver has been documented on television for 8 years. He doesn't need a wild single summer. He needs to aggressively adjust his 401k portfolio, invest in an ergonomic desk chair for his lower back, and hydrate.
I was screaming at my screen. I am losing my mind over Carl Radke suddenly acting like the wise elder statesman of relationship reason. But honestly, look at the data. Kyle kissing Sally and supposedly also hooking up with Ava Dash from the Next Gen NYC cast. Kyle is actually executing the wild single summer.
It's a completely closed ecosystem. The Bravo cinematic universe is entirely closed off from the real world now. They are just endlessly recycling each other's exes. At this point, they're just exchanging DNA to keep the storylines funded.
It's disgusting, but I love it.
But if we want to talk about Bravo stars completely detaching from the reality of the legal system, we have to travel to New Jersey. We need to dissect the dash cams, the handcuffs, and the bizarre evolution of crisis management.
Let's get into the Giudice family mechanics, because this is dark but absolutely riveting.
The documentation on this is staggering. Real Housewives of New Jersey's Melania Giudice Teresa's daughter, who we have watched grow up on screen, was arrested on May 14th for alleged domestic violence. According to the court documents, the victim is listed only by the initials LR, which every legal and gossip outlet has logically deduced is Luis Ruelas, her mother's highly controversial husband.
The details inside the police report read like a scene production cut for being too chaotic. She was allegedly throwing food and lit candles across the room, acting completely erratically, and apparently the inciting incident was a fight about her boyfriend.
Which is a very typical teenage argument, but escalated to a criminal level.
Right. And the most shocking mechanical failure of the family unit. Her own sister, Gabriella, is the one who called 911.
That is a massive structural collapse of Teresa's entire family above everything brand. But the truly fascinating update today is the visual evidence. Paige Sooks legally obtained the police dashcam video from the night of the arrest, and the footage shows Melania sitting in the back of the active police cruiser, physically handcuffed.
Yeah.
But she is not crying, she is not panicking, she is literally scoffing, laughing, and smiling at the officers as they buckle her into the plastic seat.
I have analyzed this video like it is the Zapruder film. It is the most surreal, dystopian piece of media I have consumed all year.
It is chilling.
You have just allegedly struck your stepdad in the head, like the judge explicitly stated in the hearing that she struck him with her fist. You hurled lit candles in a domestic dispute. Your own sister felt so threatened she called the authorities. You are facing up to 6 months in a county jail. And you are grinning in the back of a police cruiser like you just got caught sneaking a bottle of vodka into a high school prom. There is zero gravity to the situation in her eyes.
This is where we have to analyze the psychological impact of being raised entirely on reality television.
Yeah.
It fundamentally alters the development of the amygdala. Consequences don't feel like actual legal jeopardy. They just feel like B-roll footage for the next season's character arc. And it gets even more absurd when you examine her post-arrest PR strategy.
Oh my God, her TikTok.
She hops onto TikTok, broadcasting to her massive Gen Z following. And her literal defense strategy is, yeah, my mugshot looked fire, I ate that down, shot happens.
I am morbidly obsessed with this specific Gen Z coping mechanism. It is the absolute weaponized refusal to feel public shame. If a boomer or a Gen Xer gets arrested, the playbook is standard. You put a trench coat over your head, you release a somber Notes app apology, and you check into a wellness center.
Classic crisis management.
Right. But Gen Z gets arrested for assault, and their first instinct is to check the fluorescent lighting in the precinct to make sure their cheekbone contour is popping on the booking camera. Saying, "I ate that down," in reference to a domestic violence mugshot, is a string of words that could only exist in the algorithmically deranged year of 2026.
It's a fascinating evolution of crisis PR, but it's also deeply concerning from a sociological standpoint. Let's look at the infrastructure of the family. Teresa Giudice has spent a decade building a lucrative empire on the absolute demand for blind family loyalty. Loyalty, loyalty, loyalty.
Then it's all falling apart.
Exactly. You have a situation where Gabriella, who has historically been the quietest, most camera-shy, private sister, felt the environment was so volatile and dangerous that she had to break the ultimate family rule and involve law enforcement. And the alleged victim is the stepfather who has already systematically alienated Teresa from the rest of her family. The foundation is crumbling.
And Melania pled not guilty. She has an active court date pending in August. But the fact that she went on TikTok just days after this leaked and called Lewis an amazing stepfather, the PR strategy is completely schizophrenic. It is a terrifying mess. But you know what else is a terrifying intersection of real-life trauma and algorithm hacking PR? We need to talk about Anne-Marie Wiley.
This requires a significant tonal shift, but it's a necessary conversation about how social media commodifies human suffering. Anne-Marie Wiley, who was on one highly contentious season of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, posted a very specific TikTok recently. The undeniable facts are incredibly dark. Her estranged husband, Marcellus Wiley, was arrested for domestic battery over the 4th of July weekend. Anne-Marie has officially filed for divorce, and the legal filings allege horrific abuse, that he assaulted her, gave her a black eye, and threatened her life.
Which is absolutely horrific. It is dark, it is heavy, and we need to explicitly validate her experience as a survivor. What she went through behind closed doors sounds like a claustrophobic nightmare, and she deserves safety and justice.
Completely agreed. But we have to analyze the medium she chose to communicate these severe legal allegations to the public. She didn't release a statement through a lawyer or sit down for a journalistic interview. She hopped onto a viral TikTok audio trend.
This is where she lost me.
The trend is a soundbite saying, "Preparing for my documentary." She posted a highly produced video of herself on a set, adjusting a ring light, fixing her glam, looking pensive, and the caption. The caption was a bulleted list equating surviving her reality TV villain edit, the public attack on her medical profession by the American Society of Anesthesiologists, and secretly walking on eggshells for 14 years with her abuser. And she bookended this list with Bible verses.
This is where my brain completely short-circuits. Because the trauma is undeniably real and the abuse is real, and she has every single right to own her narrative and speak her truth. But announcing it via a lip-syncing viral TikTok trend, it is peak Bravo brain social media conditioning. It is taking the worst moments of your life and packaging them into a 15-second digestible format for the For You page.
It perfectly illustrates the dissonance of the modern internet. It's the collision of heavy, real-life trauma and the desperate algorithmic need for engagement metrics. It feels inherently wrong. You were disclosing a domestic violence arrest, but you're specifically tying it to a trending audio sound to hack the TikTok algorithm for maximum views.
Exactly. It feels so dystopian. It's like choreographing a TikTok dance to announce that a relative passed away. I understand that social media is the primary vehicle for communication now, but equating a bad edit on a Bravo show, which is a manufactured TV grievance, with 14 years of alleged physical abuse in the exact same sentence under a trending hashtag is wild.
It flattens the human experience.
Yes, it trivializes her own very serious, very dangerous situation by placing it on the same level as arguing with Sutton Strack over medical credentials.
It perfectly highlights how reality television completely warps a person's sense of scale and reality. A semantic dispute on a reality show over whether you are legally titled a nurse anesthetist or an anesthesiologist is a professional headache. Domestic battery is a violent crime. Putting them on the same bulleted list in a TikTok caption to farm sympathy shows a deeply skewed perspective of what constitutes a real crisis.
It really does. I genuinely hope she gets the legal and emotional healing she needs completely off the app. But you know who is absolutely refusing to heal off the app and is instead weaponizing the interface? The mom talk girlies. Let's get into the petty feuds, the delayed unfollows, and the economics of being rich broke.
Let's start with the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives cast, the Mom Talk Mutiny. The current landscape. Taylor Frankie Paul is currently in a rehab facility. She is locked in a vicious legal custody dispute with her ex, and she is actively feuding with Whitney Leavitt online. But the strategic move that broke the internet today. Her castmates Miranda Hope and Layla Taylor finally hit the unfollow button on Taylor's Instagram.
And the mechanics of this unfollow are so deeply psychologically petty. Because Taylor had actually unfollowed Miranda and Layla months ago, but Miranda and Layla kept following her, silently absorbing her content, projecting the image of taking the high road until today when they coordinated a synchronized unfollow.
They didn't just unfollow her, they deployed a public relations explanation. Lila and Miranda literally hopped into the comments section of a random Bravo fan page to legally justify themselves to the audience, stating they unfollowed because it didn't make logical sense to keep investing emotional energy into something that was entirely one-sided.
I am fascinated by the digital warfare of this power play. You know exactly what this is, Snark Squad. You have absolutely sat on an unfollow for 3 months just so you don't look petty to your college roommate. You know the exact psychological warfare playing out on Hulu right now?
It's a masterclass in passive-aggressive optics. The delayed unfollow is a highly calculated sociological move. If someone unfollows you, and you immediately unfollow them back in the same hour, you look reactive, emotional, and petty. But if you wait 2 financial quarters, you secure the moral high ground, you look like the patient, supportive, long-suffering friend who is finally tragically pushed past their breaking point. It is weaponized patience.
It is, and the fact that they are treating Instagram gossip accounts like press conferences to justify they unfollow, they want the viewers to know they were the victims of Taylor's one-sided friendship before the new season drops. Meanwhile, Taylor is literally fighting for her life in a treatment center and beefing with Whitney, who Taylor claims has been plotting her downfall since the pilot episode. The season 5 opening credits aren't going to show them dancing. It's just going to be a montage of them blocking each other on their iPhones.
Speaking of people aggressively fighting about status while their real lives fall apart, let's talk about the economic reality of the East Coast Bravo shows. Let's look at the financial mechanics of Real Housewives of Atlanta and Real Housewives of Rhode Island.
I am adopting the phrase rich broke into my daily vocabulary. It is the defining economic theory of our time.
It is a brilliant, devastating turn of phrase. Phaedra Parks on RHOA completely shaded Kelly Potter on camera, observing that there is a lot of rich broke going around the cast. Here's the financial reality of that shade. Kelly's personal banks are currently being subpoenaed by aggressive creditors over a massive defaulted business loan from 5 years ago.
Oh, the lawsuits are flying.
Kelly's legal defense is blaming her ex-husband, Mark Farrell, claiming he forged documents and is solely responsible for the debt. Mark is categorically denying it to the press.
Rich broke is the most mechanically accurate description of 90% of the reality TV ecosystem. We need to talk about how this actually works. You have a $25,000 Birkin bag sitting on the counter of a leased mansion, but your debit card gets declined at Panera Bread.
The optics versus the reality.
Exactly. You drive a leased Range Rover to maintain the optics required by your production contract, but creditors are literally subpoenaing your checking account off camera. Phaedra always knows how to deliver a read that is not just funny, but financially and sociologically devastating. These women are using their Bravo contracts as collateral for predatory loans to fund a lifestyle they can't afford just to stay on the show. It's a Ponzi scheme of glamour.
It's the ultimate Ouroboros of reality TV economics. You go into debt to look rich enough to get cast on the show, and then you use the show's paycheck to pay off the debt. But the show demands you escalate your lifestyle, putting you further into debt. And while Kelly is dealing with actual court-ordered subpoenas, Rula Pontarelli on Real Housewives of Rhode Island is choosing a completely different, legally disastrous strategy.
Do not even get me started on Rilla.
She is aggressively taunting her husband's mistress online while actively being sued for defamation by that exact same mistress.
Rula is a menace to the legal system. Okay, let's break down the mechanics of this lawsuit. Rula's husband, Brian, allegedly had a massive 2.5-year affair with a woman named Beth. Beth is currently suing Brian in civil court for breach of contract, and she has attached a defamation lawsuit against Rula because Rula refuses to stop trashing her on national television, specifically on Watch What Happens Live. So, with an active lawsuit hanging over her head, what does Rula do today?
She defies all legal counsel. She logs onto Instagram and posts a highly produced reel calling Beth an ugly side chick, a home wrecker, a clown show. She accuses the plaintiff of playing the victim. And to tie it all back to our earlier conversation, Rula used the exact same preparing for my Netflix documentary Trending Audio that Emery Wiley used.
It's the crossover event nobody asked for. Rilla is literally the defendant in a defamation lawsuit. Her high-priced retainer lawyer is probably sobbing in a dark room right now, drafting a resignation letter, and she's out here posting clown emojis and hashtags, explicitly calling the plaintiff ugly to her thousands of followers.
It defies logic.
It's peak East Coast housewives chaos. You cannot script this level of delusion. She is handing the plaintiff exhibit A, B, and C on a silver platter.
And Lisa Hochstein from Miami, who is dealing with her own catastrophic divorce finances, jumped into the comment section to encourage her. It's an echo chamber of toxic legal behavior. Rula's defense in the comments was basically, I didn't betray anyone, he did, so I'm allowed to have a sense of humor about it online. Legally speaking, a civil court judge assessing defamation damages might vehemently disagree with that logic, but for pure, unadulterated entertainment value, it is a 10.
Okay, we need to move to the final piece of gossip today, which might actually be the most mind-blowing, paradigm-shifting piece of news of the entire year. The wildest reality TV casting decision of the decade.
Fox officially announced the cast list for Special Forces, World's Toughest Test Season 5.
Yeah.
For the uninitiated, this is the reality show where they drop D-list celebrities into a hostile jungle environment to undergo simulated military psychological torture and physical drills led by ex-special operatives.
First of all, the casting department needs a Pulitzer. The cast list looks like a Mad Lib generated by a rogue AI that drank too much Red Bull.
It really does.
You have Alexia and Mauricio Umansky, Kyle Richards' daughter, and her recently separated ex-husband competing together in the mud. You have Hallmark queen Candace Cameron Bure. You have disgraced, expelled, federally indicted former U.S. Congressman George Santos.
The visual of George Santos, a man who allegedly financed a luxury lifestyle with campaign funds, trying to execute a tactical rope crawl through a muddy trench in Malaysia while being screamed at by a British commando, is going to be television history. It is the climax of American culture. But the crown jewel of this casting matrix is Colin Gosselin.
My jaw actually unhinged from my skull when I read his press quote. I had to read it 3 times.
Let's provide the historical context for the Snark Squad. Colin is the estranged son of John and Kate Gosselin, the original reality TV family. He recently announced a tell-all memoir alleging severe systemic childhood abuse orchestrated by his mother, Kate, including claims of being zip-tied and locked in a basement. Now, Kate Gosselin actually competed on Season 1 of this exact show, Special Forces.
I remember this.
And she was medically evacuated on day 1 because she panicked and thought she broke her neck during a minor water drill.
And so Colin, her estranged son, signs the contract for Season 5, and his official, studio-approved press, quote, announcing his casting is, as one of Kate Gosselin's kids, I can assure you that this competition will be the world's second toughest test.
That is a tactical nuclear strike.
I'm deceased. Bury me in the Malaysian mud. That is the most lethal, PR-perfect, devastating string of words I have ever heard in my life. He didn't just throw shade at her, he vaporized her entire legacy. He basically looked at the camera and said, I survived the psychological warfare of Kate Gosselin's basement for a decade. You think I'm scared of a scripted military drill hosted by Fox?
It is an absolute masterclass in marketing. His upcoming book is titled In the Shadow of 8. The mechanical genius here is undeniable. The fact that Kate tapped out on day 1 of this exact franchise, and now her son, who she allegedly committed to a mental institution as a child to silence him, is going on primetime television to physically prove he is tougher than her. It's a Greek tragedy intersecting with late-stage Fox reality television. It's Oedipus in a tactical vest.
Reality TV has peaked. We have reached the summit. Cancel every other show in production. I do not care about the Real Housewives anymore. I just want to watch Colin Gosselin outlast George Santos and Mauricio Umansky in a jungle endurance test.
Which logically brings us to crowning the main character of the day. Segment 1. The internet is a chaotic machine that chews up a new protagonist every 24 hours. Sometimes it's a villain, sometimes it's a hero. Today, looking at the data, the choice is glaringly obvious.
It has to be Colin Gosselin. Hands down, no contest. I was originally going to advocate for Melania Giudice purely for the sociological terror of her absolute refusal to show remorse in a cop car, but Colin took the crown with that single sentence.
I agree with the assessment. Delivering a perfectly crafted, lethal quote about your reality TV villain mother, weaponizing her own past failure on the exact same network, all while signing up for a military survival show to promote your tell-all memoir. That is top-tier multidimensional internet behavior. He completely dominated the news cycle today. Kate Gosselin is probably aggressively punching the air in a Pennsylvania grocery store right now.
Oh, she is absolutely filming a tearful, defensive TikTok with a ring light as we speak. Okay, let's pivot to our next segment, fact, or absolute nonsense. We are going to isolate 3 specific details from today's chaos and logically debate if they're actually genius marketing, completely ridiculous human behavior, or secretly entertaining for the viewers. First up on the docket, Leva Bonaparte from Southern Hospitality.
Let me establish the parameters of this beef.
Yeah.
Leva unfollowed her own employees, TJ and Joe, because they allegedly went rogue and opened a rival hot dog business named Sir Wieners. TJ posted a highly cryptic, passive-aggressive Instagram story about not letting someone stunt his entrepreneurial dreams or keep him trapped under their umbrella, and he announced new locations for his hot dog stand. Leva, a grown woman and CEO, immediately unfollows both of them and posts a Pinterest quote saying, "Not being liked by fucking losers is usually a good sign."
Okay, is this absolute nonsense or secretly entertaining? I am ruling this secretly entertaining, heavily bordering on completely ridiculous. Look at the economics. Leva is a 47-year-old multimillionaire who owns half the nightclubs in Charleston. You are engaging in a digital turf war with a 34-year-old VIP host over a localized hot dog cart named Sir Wieners. It is beneath your tax bracket.
It is fundamentally ridiculous on a personal level. She is trying to position herself as the Lisa Vanderpump of Charleston. She should not be engaging in Instagram subtweets over encased meats.
Yeah.
But let's look at it from a production and algorithmic standpoint. It is absolute genius. Southern Hospitality has not been officially greenlit for Season 5 yet. The cast contracts are in limbo.
Wait, you're so right.
Leva knows exactly how the Bravo machine works. She's artificially manufacturing low-stakes, high-comedy drama on social media to juice the engagement metrics and secure the bag for her cast. She's proving they still have storyline juice.
Ooh, you are so right. She is producing them off camera. Okay, next item to debate. Melania Giudice claiming her mugshot looked fire and she ate it down after an alleged domestic violence arrest. Genius Gen Z PR spin or completely ridiculous?
It is absolute, unequivocal nonsense.
Yeah.
It is ridiculous, and it is a catastrophic failure to read the room from a legal perspective. If she was booked for a minor DUI or a college trespassing charge or stealing a traffic cone, maybe you could pull off the edgy, rebellious mugshot aesthetic for TikTok.
Yeah.
But she is accused of striking her stepdad in the head during a violent altercation. You cannot slay a domestic battery charge. The court does not care about your contouring.
See, I agree that it's completely ridiculous and legally disastrous, but I also think it is secretly entertaining strictly from an anthropological view because it proves our theory. It shows how completely fundamentally detached from reality these kids raised on Bravo truly are. She does not process this as a legal crisis that could ruin her life. She processes it as a storyline that will guarantee her screen time next season. It's terrifying, but I cannot look away from the psychological wreckage.
That is a fair sociological point. Okay, final item. Carl Radke advising a 43-year-old Kyle Cook to have a wild single summer.
This is absolute nonsense. Carl Radke giving dating advice is the definition of the blind leading the blind. Carl wears incredibly tight white pants and completely avoids hard emotional conversations until a Bravo camera operator is pointing a lens at his face. Kyle is a married man going through a deeply complex business and romantic separation. Telling him to just go wild in the Hamptons and hook up with 26-year-olds is objectively terrible advice for a human being seeking stability.
Yes, it is terrible advice for a functioning human being.
Yeah.
But is it genius advice for reality TV ratings?
Yes. Yes, it is. I hate that you're right, because Kyle taking that advice, completely destabilizing his life, and hooking up with Sally and Ava Dash is going to feed the Bravo blogs for the next 6 months. Damn you, Carl Radke. You produced the hell out of that text message. You knew exactly what you were doing.
Let's formalize our findings with Segment 3, the Snark Side Power Rankings. We are ruthlessly grading today's biggest stories across 4 specific metrics: chaos, entertainment, surprise, and meme potential.
I'll take chaos. The undisputed winner of the chaos metric is Jax Taylor dating the publicist who guided him and his wife through their divorce. It is structurally, fundamentally chaotic. It breaks the fourth wall of public relations. It destroys a marriage, a friendship, and a professional NDA all in one trip to a Mexican resort. It is a tornado of bad decisions.
My ranking for pure entertainment value goes to the Fox executives who cast Special Forces Season 5. Forcing George Santos, Mauricio Umansky, and Colin Gosselin to execute military drills in Malaysia is a stroke of madness. I don't even need to explain the mechanics of why that is entertaining. It is a cultural fever dream that we all get to hallucinate together.
The surprise ranking absolutely goes to Amanda Batula, allegedly hooking up with Wes Wilson way earlier than anyone on the cast or in the audience thought. Because Amanda's entire carefully curated brand is being the long-suffering, patient, morally superior wife who puts up with Kyle's drunken antics. If it turns out she was having a sneaky link with the new guy while actively judging everyone else in the house, that is a massive brand-destroying plot twist.
And finally, meme potential. The definitive winner is Anne-Marie Wiley doing a TikTok dance trend to announce she's preparing for a documentary about her ruined life. The visual juxtaposition of a beauty ring light, a full face of glam, and a Bible verse about surviving horrific trauma is going to be memed to death by the internet.
It really is. People are going to start using that exact audio clip to announce that their Wi-Fi went down or their barista used the wrong milk. It is going to be everywhere by Monday morning.
Which brings us to our final speculative exercise. Segment 4. Tomorrow's headlines. We are looking into the crystal ball. We have to predict the future based on today's data. One celebrity headline, one viral TikTok trend, one reality TV moment, and one completely chaotic prediction that defies logic but somehow might happen. You have the floor.
Okay, my celebrity headline prediction based on the mechanics of today's mess. Jax Taylor opens a boutique PR firm specifically for divorced reality TV men. He hires Lori as the CEO to handle the crisis management, and their very first high-paying client is Mauricio Umansky. They launch a podcast network out of a garage in the Valley.
I hate the fact that that actually sounds like a plausible business strategy for them. My viral TikTok trend prediction. The dash cam footage of Melania laughing in the back of the cop car becomes the #1 lip sync audio on the app. Gen Z is going to use the exact sound of the cop clicking the seatbelt, followed by her scoffing, to represent mundane corporate moments like when my boss asks if I finished the Q3 spreadsheet that I haven't even opened yet.
Oh, that is definitely going viral. The corporate girlies will eat that up. Okay, my reality TV moment prediction. George Santos gets medically evacuated on day 1 of Special Forces, following the exact same historical timeline as Kate Gosselin. He is going to claim he pulled a hamstring while valiantly trying to rescue an endangered bird in the jungle, but the raw footage will clearly show he just tripped over his own untied tactical boot.
And my completely chaotic prediction that somehow, against all laws of business, might happen. Leva Bonaparte launches a retaliatory venture-backed luxury corn dog brand just despite TJ's wieners. She is going to call it Baron von Bratwurst. She is going to charge $25 a pop, and she is going to open a massive brick-and-mortar location directly across the street from his Richmond cart just to bankrupt him.
Yes, she will absolutely franchise a spite business. The sheer pettiness of Charleston demands it. I am screaming at the thought of a luxury corn dog turf war.
All right, Snark Squad, that is all the sociological and psychological chaos we can possibly process for one day. My limoncello spritz is entirely gone, and my prefrontal cortex is completely fried from trying to find the logic in Bravo decisions.
But, babes, before we log off, we need you to weigh in. Hit the comments, slide into our DMs, we need peer review. Which story had you spiraling today? Are you Team Sally or Team Amanda in the Summer House Love Hexagon? Let us know whose timeline you believe.
Also, be completely honest with us and yourself. Which ridiculous internet invention from earlier would you actually put on your credit card today? Are you financing the lie detector glasses to ruin your dating life, or the real-life mute button to survive your commute?
I am still firmly Team Mute Button. I need to silence the world. And let us know who from your own life deserves 5 minutes of internet fame. Send some love to your local crossing guard or the grandma forcing you to eat lasagna.
Thank you all for joining our gossip therapy session today. The group chat is officially closed for the day. Remember to subscribe, leave a 5-star review, because anything less is a direct, personal attack against us, and share this breakdown with your favorite gossip-loving babe.
And before we go, I want you to really think about this over the weekend. If reality stars are now competing in literal military survival shows and doing TikTok dances while handcuffed in the back of active police cruisers, what happens when the line between a produced Bravo storyline and the actual criminal justice system completely disappears? Are we just going to start casting federal juries through Bravo casting directors? Mull that over while you drink your iced coffee tomorrow. Stay nosy, stay fabulous, and we'll see you on the Snark side.